And in this video, we're going to be looking at the information that's on pages Excel 62 and 63, in which we're going to be talking about applying colors, patterns, and borders. You can use colors, patterns, and borders to enhance the overall appearance of a worksheet and to make it easier to read. You can add these enhancements by using the border and fill color buttons in the font group on the Home tab of the ribbon, and also on the mini toolbar. Or you can use the Fill tab and the Border tab in the Format Cells dialog box. You can apply a color to the background of a cell or a range of cells, or to cell contents. You can apply a pattern to a cell or range, and you can apply borders to all the cells in a worksheet or only to selected cells, and that is really used to call attention to that selected information. To save time, you can also apply cell styles, which is really a predetermined combination of formatting attributes. So let's now take a look at step 1 on page Excel 62, and it tells us that we want to select cell A1. So if we scroll up a little bit here and click on A1, and remember that this is our merged and centered cell. And now what we're going to do is we're going to click the Fill Color List arrow button in the font group. So if I click on my Home tab here, and here's my font group, it's the one that looks like a little paint bucket, and that is our fill color. So when I click on the list arrow, which is right next to it, it brings me up to my theme colors on there, and also my standard colors. Of course, notice that Live Preview is active, and so when you hover over a color, it will actually tell you what the color is, but in addition, you see what it looks like in the worksheet. So it tells us that what we want to choose is the turquoise accent 2 color, which is on the first row, and it's the 6th column from the left. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on there. There we are. This is the 6th one on here, and this is the turquoise accent 2. When we click on that on there, and that is step 2, is to click the turquoise accent 2 color. Now what's going to happen is that the color is going to be applied to the background or the fill of this cell. Now, of course, remember that the cell A1 spans columns A through I because, once again, we had merged and centered that. Now, if we had not merged and centered that, it would only have the contents that is in cell A1 there. On step 3, it tells us that we want to right-click cell A1, and we're going to go to and point to Format Cells, and we're going to click on it. Now, what's going to happen is that the Format Cells dialog box is going to open. And of course, adding a pattern to cells, this is what we're going to be doing next, is going to be used to add to the visual interest of the worksheet. Of course, to format an entire row or column at once, you need to either click the row heading or the column heading on there. Now, once we have the Format Cells dialog box up, on step 4 it tells us we want to click the Fill tab. And once we have that here, notice that we have, of course, the colors, just like we've seen in our previous step, but we also have some other list arrows over here. And what we're going to click on, we're going to click on the Pattern Style list arrow. When we click on that, here are some different colors that we have. We have solids, horizontal stripes, then vertical stripes, and a combination of them. But the one that we want to choose is that we want to choose this one right over here, and that is the 6.25% gray. And that's the first row, 6th column from the left. So we choose on that one right there. And then you'll notice that here's a sample down here of what it's going to look like. And it just gives it a little bit of a pattern so that it makes it stand out just a little bit more. Then we're going to click on OK. Once we do that, we now notice that we have our fill and a pattern that is associated with this cell now, and it just makes it stand out just a little bit more. On step 5, we're going to click the Borders list arrow. And of course, the Borders list arrow is just directly to the left of the Fill button that's on there. And of course, this is our bottom's border button, but we want to click on the list arrow next to it. Then next, we're going to click on the thick bottom border on there. So we notice that right here, it says thick bottom border. And when we click on that, on there, and it's going to add this bottom border to it, which, unlike underlining, which is a text formatting tool, borders will extend the entire width of the cell and can appear at the bottom of the cell, at the top of the cell, or on either side. Now right now it can be difficult to see the border when the cell is selected, so if we would click somewhere else, we now notice that there, you can see it right there at the bottom right there, there is a thick border that goes across the bottom of this cell. Now in step 6 it tells us that we want to select the cell range A3 to I3. So if I go from A3 all the way to I3, and those are our titles or our labels that we have for our columns here. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the font color list arrow, and that is right here. It's the A with a line underneath it that's color. When we click on the list arrow, of course, once again we have our different font colors, and as you hover over each color it's going to show you the live preview of it. The color we want to select is going to be the blue accent 1 color, which is the first theme color row and the 5th one from the left. So here we have the theme colors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is the blue accent 1 color. When we click on that, we notice that now the color has been applied to the font color, or it's changed the font color of these selected cells. On step 7, it tells us that we want to select the range J1 to K1. So we're going to choose these two cells right over here, J1 to K1. Then it tells us to click the Cell Style button in the Styles group. So notice that we have, here's our Styles group right up here. If I click on the Cell Styles button that is down here at the bottom on there, notice I have the different options that are there. So we can have the good, bad, and neutral. It's much like the good, bad, and the ugly. We have the date and model, and then we have titles and headings. However, in this case, we want to click on the neutral button. So that's the first row, 4th column from the left on this palette. And when we have that, we notice that now the font and color change in the range is now shown in figure C15. And so now you need to save your work. And once again, remember to save that your work. Of course, you can also save time with using these themes and cell styles that's on there. You can save your time, yourself time by formatting with themes and cell styles. A theme is a predetermined set of attributes that give your Excel worksheet a professional look. Formatting choices included in a theme are colors, fonts, line, and fill effects. A theme can be applied using the Themes button in the Themes group on the Page Layout tab. So that is right here. If we click on the Page Layout tab, and here are the different themes that you can choose from. And of course you can notice that it gives you a live preview, so you can take a look at the different ones that are on there. However, we don't want to select a theme at this time on there. Now, of course, cell styles are a set of attributes based on themes. So they are automatically updated if you change your theme. And of course, it gives us, for an example, if you apply a 20% accent 1 cell style in cell A1 in a worksheet that has no theme applied, the fill color will change to light blue and the font changes as well. If you change the theme of the worksheet to Metro, the cell A1's fill color will change again to a light green and the font will change as well, because these are the attributes that coordinate with the selected theme. So they try to make sure that everything looks uniform on there. Now, there are default themes that you can use, but if you choose to switch up your theme, then everything else will follow suit so it still looks uniform. And that concludes the information that is located on pages Excel 62 and 63 about applying colors, patterns, and borders. You're ready to move on to the next video where we're going to be talking about applying conditional formatting.